Hey designers, I am going to give you one more way to open up from GitHub and start coding without having to go through the middleman of Visual Studio Code Editor. It still takes you through needing to use source control and everything, but I want to give you this one more time. I know that this is super challenging and you've never been in a space like this. Most of you have not been in a space like this before. And so let's see if I can help you get through this. So in my repository, I am going to go ahead and go to this code button over here. When I press that, I have Codespaces. If you don't have a Codespace, then you're going to have to create a new one. And I have a Codespace, so I'm going to use it. It's Urban Potato. I'm going to click on it, and if you haven't created a Codespace, you're going to have to go through the process of choosing what type you want. It's fine. The lowest possible is good. We're doing super low coding. One of the benefits of GitHub is that it is powerful and we can actually do powerful things. And in fact, if you search for, there was code written in GitHub by a team that helped land something on Mars. I don't know the whole story, but it's interesting. All right, so here I am. Now, apparently, so I don't know. I thought I walked us through the entire process and now it's gone. So I think maybe I deleted it for another class and then never got back around to doing it. So I'm just gonna show you real quick. Like let's say I wanted to do my practical challenge. First of all, when you're inside your Codespace, do you notice that it kind of looks like Visual Studio Code? Now, if you've downloaded Visual Studio Code, you might have like a dark screen, which is cool, but otherwise it's the same thing. I just zoomed in. The nice thing about Visual Studio Code is you can zoom in really well. All of this that pops up, this is advanced, something we don't need, so we can clear this space. So we have just our index.html, or we have our Explorer open, right? And then I have the Practical Challenge 1, and then I have the Practice Practical Challenge. So I think I was doing this wrong. I'm supposed to have the Practice Challenge. So Practical Challenge was going to be what I submit into Canvas, okay? So maybe I want to even call it something else, like, submit. Right? I don't know. Something, right? This is my project. And this is a project. Maybe I should say project 1, right? But that's fine. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to, let's see, you notice this, if you switch between these, they don't always switch. And so, but you do have tabs open here. So in here, these are the different files that are open. Let me go over here. All of this, copy it and paste it into here. So that's where it's supposed to be. Okay. And then here we go. So this is the practice challenge, Practice-Challenge 1 from HTML and CSS Guidebook. Now it might also help me. Now this is my practice challenge to submit for credit. Okay, so this is not going to be the design of the 1960s. I'm going to have to come up with something, so if I was doing something with a list, I would probably do something about the electronic music. Okay, I would probably do that. Okay. That's just something that I can categorize a lot of. All right. So maybe I do something like that. And then I could go back. Okay. So I just wanted to show you, this is my submit for credit. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I want to show you now, we've already walked through that practical challenge, practice challenge 1. If you are ready to do practice challenge 2, I want to show you what we would do. Now, let's say you're like, I don't really need help with the actual practice challenge. In our HTML CSS guidebook, go down to references and resources and practical challenges. Within practical challenges, challenge 2, they actually have the starter files. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to save my starter files. Find a good place for it. Let's see. I should probably just make a new folder. Okay, and then this is the challenge 1 starter files. Notice I'm not using spaces. I'm not using uppercase. I'm using dashes if I really need to. Okay, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to unzip this. Mine unzips automatically. I have it open. A file with a folder. Do you want to replace it? Replace. Watch this. Whoa, Practice Practical Challenge is now replaced. So I could click and drag from my folder from my computer. I can upload files here too. So this new file thing, or no, not like that. Sorry. Where is it? Here, new file, add folder. Upload right here, upload. So I could be either dragged or I can upload. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at this. If I right click on the index, as long as I have Microsoft, oh shoot, make public. This is blocked. Okay, that's right. So if your live server is not working in here, let me see what's wrong with it. Live preview is not working. And I guess that's because of the, okay, so the other thing that we can do is live server. Okay, so if you don't have live server in here, install it, live server. It's this guy right here. Then go back here, right click on this, and then open with live server. There we go. And then, so this is interesting. If I open with the live server, it gives me the folders. Normally, if you're opening with a live server, it's actually treating it like a real website. And a real website doesn't open unless it has an index.html file at the root. Well, we don't have an index.html file at the root right now. All we have is our practice stuff. So I'm going to actually click on this folder, and then it takes me, oh, there it is. And it takes me to this file here. Okay, so let's see what I'd like to do. That's interesting that this is not working. Okay, so only continue. Yeah, continue. Okay, so it looks like I just had to. Let's figure. Let's actually. Okay, so what happened was it was like, do you want to open that? I had to make sure that it was safe, and now it's open. Now the other thing I could have done was had this open. Okay, and then I can do like a side panel view. I could do it here, and then I would have this shut. But if you could get the live preview to work, that's the best. We'll have to look at that again. And it's okay that it was weird. Okay, a couple of things that we want to do. This is the one that we're not submitting, okay? So we don't have to put any comments in here, but it's a good idea. You know, it's not by Josiah Spence, it's by me now, okay? So watch what happens if I change it. This normally is supposed to be live, as in like every update you make here, it goes here. But in this instance, I have to refresh the screen. Okay, so here I have my practical challenge. Okay, what I'm getting to now, if you're not already confused, I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to confuse you, but it's a little confusing. So I hope you're catching along here. The next thing that we're going to do is copy this folder. Okay, so what we're going to do, we want to make a new folder so that we can do Practical Challenge 2. Okay, so this is for those of you that have done the Practical Challenge or are not using the starter files. If you're using the starter files, you can just call this Practical Challenge 2. But I want to show you what it would be like if I had my own. So I just right click on this and I copy. That's it. Super easy, right? And then make sure I click outside just in the empty space, and then I know I'm at my root. Okay, I don't want to accidentally paste my folder into another one of these subfolders. So I make sure that it's highlighted out here. You can kind of see the blue here. Okay, and I'm going to Control V, and notice it automatically gives me another folder. I can tell that these are all different folders at the root of my jewelcrow.github.io. I'm going to rename this right away. And this is my practical challenge. And we'll just shorten it. Challenge 2. Okay. So now I have the file, the folders, and now I have all the things that I need to do. Okay, so I've got 3 different websites that I'm building within my root. Okay, now this is still not a live website because we don't have an index.html here. That's fine. That's why we're kind of running into some issues. But here it is. Here's my new index. It's the exact same. Okay. Now I'm ready to go through the Practical Challenge 2. Okay, so let's walk through that right now. I am going to unhook this and I'm going to do a split screen here. That over here, this over here. All right. And then, now we're going through semantic HTML. Okay, so semantic elements in HTML. Basically what this is a way to add meaning to the structure of our page. It's for a few reasons. Number 1, accessibility. It's for screen readers. Screen readers know what a section is, they know what an article is, they know what a side is, so they know what those things are, and they're going to read the page to people that are using assistive technologies in certain ways based on the structure of our page. Secondly, it's for search engine optimization. Now, this is a part of your discussion question for next week. And search engine optimization is a way to make sure that your website can be found by search engines, web crawlers. Okay, web crawlers are little guys that run around. They're not actual guys, but they're little like scripts. Okay, bots. We call them bots, but really they're just scripts that go out and scour web pages and get information from them based on their structure. So they look for H1s a lot. That determines, oh, what is this page about? And they'll read other information about your page so that they can index it appropriately for search engines. And then if yours is indexed appropriately, it can rank higher in search results. And if you're a business trying to be found on the web, then your goal is to show up high in search results. And so the practice of making sure that your web page can be found on the internet well is search engine optimization. All right, so that's one of the reasons for it. Let's go ahead and let's walk through what this is telling us to do with this practical challenge. Okay, so the challenge builds upon this. We already have our starter files. We're ready. Am I in the right one? No. Okay. Make sure you're in the right one. I'm going to close this. I want to keep track of my progression. Just makes more sense. I'm going to add a comment here. Even though I'm not turning this in, I'm still going to add a comment. This is Practice-Challenge-2. This just reminds me, because in the actual file name, I can't change the file name. Otherwise, it won't be a home page, okay? If I change it to anything like Practice-Challenge-2 or whatever, it's not going to be the same. Practical-Challenge-2 from HTML and CSS Guidebook. I could even link, I could like link to this. It's great. All right. Whoops. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. Okay, that didn't work. That's fine. All right, let's see. Make sure I have everything. Yep. Okay, so now we have our challenge 1. We're going to add more meaning to the page by making use of HTML5 semantic elements. We're starting wrapping all the content inside the body. So all the content inside the body, we can open and close it here. And we're going to wrap it except for the small element. Okay, so the small is going to be a part of something else. Everything else is going to be wrapped in a element that is appropriate for the primary content of a page. Okay, cool. I put in a little cheat sheet in one of the assignments if you want to look at that. But I know that main is what I'm going to be using. Okay, so the main element is what I'm going to be using. Now, when I start typing, I'm using Visual Studio Code, even though I'm in Codespaces. When I start typing my main element, I press tab, it opens and closes it automatically. What I'm going to do is cut the ending tag, so Command X, and then I'm going to paste it where I want it, which is right before the credit area. Paste that there, okay? And then I'm going to make sure that, okay, I've got this. This is good. Now, this is all nested, okay, inside. Now, if I want to make tab or like a indent changes right at once, all at once, I can highlight everything that I want. And notice how it has all these little indents, these little arrows here. They're kind of indicating, oh, there's an indent. So if I want to change the indentation so that now I'm showing that all of these elements are nested in my main element, I can highlight everything at once and press tab. Now I see, okay, they are all in my main. And I can test that by closing the main. Oh, yep, there it is. But look here, my main is flush with the body. I don't want that. So tab that over. Perfect. Okay, and now my small is flush with the main. That's good. That's because they're in the same line, okay? The small is not nested inside, so it's in line with main because small is nested in body. Cool. Inside the element I just added. Okay, so open up the main. I just added my main. Find the H2 tag that says significant designers, okay? And then it says wrap both that heading and the list element, so heading and unordered list, wrap them in a group of thematically related content. So thematically related content, big description for the elements. Let me just open up semantic HTML cheat sheet. Let's look at it. I like this one. So thematically groups. Okay. I see section. A group and a series of related content pieces. That is the same thing as a group of thematically related content. Thematically is a big word. It's theme, okay? It's the related, it's all related. So now we're going to go in here and I'm going to wrap all of it in a main. Now, is there a way? I wish that what I could do is just like say that I want to wrap it in, let's see what happens. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Okay, I just highlighted everything here. And now I'm starting to type my element. Wow, section. Oh, crap. Okay, it didn't work. Control Z, Command Z, Command Z. Okay. Command Z. Okay, let's get rid of this. I know that there's a way to do this. Okay, that's gonna be my job to figure that out. Okay, I'm gonna take this ending section and I'm gonna put it right after this unordered list. Okay, so now I need to look at, okay, well right now it's saying that the section is nested in the main, which is in line with, or like in the same indent structure as H1 and paragraph and then section. But now H2, UL, all of this is now a child of section. So it's nested in section. So I want to highlight all of it, tab over to make a new section, and then just tab this over, make sure that it's in line. See how the line gets bold here for a second? That's great. So now I have a section. Awesome. All right. And now it's going to tell me to do the same thing with this one. Okay, with the next one. And I'm not going to include my main, right? This is going to cause a big problem. If I were to end my section here, it will have a problem. And I can actually use this validation real quick. And it's like, hey, there's a problem. And this is a part of our next lesson too, is validating what it's showing me here. And now look at this. It says, when I validate, it says, hey, if I hover over it, it says end tag main scene, but there were open elements. So what? Open elements. So that tells me there were open elements. That means that there was an open element that was supposed to be closed inside of main. So what if I look at section? I see stray end tag section. If I say stray end tag section, what do you mean? There's my section right here. And this one says unclosed. Oh, so it's out of order. That makes sense. And so it tells you, hey, you're supposed to end your section above your main element, which makes sense, okay? So let's go ahead and make sure that we're in line here. This main should be good. Okay, now let me clear the W3C validation. There we go. And then I'm going to tab this over. Or all of it. Okay, tab over. There we go. Now I have this. Perfect. My sections. So I could kind of collapse everything and see. Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. It's looking good. It's looking good. If I give it a little extra space, it just allows my eyes to see things a little better. But now I see everything is nested appropriately within these sections. Okay, and it says that. Use another one. And then it says, now let's turn our attention to the small element. Oh, by the way, let me just do that W3C validation again and check. It's valid now. Much better. See how valuable that tool is? So as a reminder, if you don't have that extension, it's called W3C Web Validator. Okay. Gonna want to have that. And then, trying to wave at somebody out my window. Let's see. And then, now let's turn our attention to the small element at the end that contains the written by. Okay, so it's website by, but whatever. Wrap that element in a semantic element that refers to information about the creator or creation of a page or article. Let's go over here to our cheat sheet. You know, this cheat sheet isn't giving us the correct, like, it's supposed to be footer, but it's not giving us, so I get it. So here's the thing. A footer this is saying it's the least important information. It's not necessarily the least important information. I mean, it is, but it's information about the page, right? So a footer. All right. Now it can be inside an article. You can have multiple footers and multiple headers. And I will tell you what, guys, that's new HTML5 stuff. So, because it really is about what it means. So it's more than just the least important information. It's information about the page or about the article. And so that's what's contained in there. So I'm going to wrap inside my small, I'm going to wrap a footer. Okay. And I'm going to cut out the ending tag. Paste it there. And now I see, and does it make sense that it is not flush? It should be flush with main. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing. And I'm going to tab over so that it's in line with main, which makes sense. So now I have my main sections within my body. main is main and footer. Okay. And then I can open it up and I see that I have headings, paragraphs, and then sections, which are thematically, or they're themed areas. Okay. And then I have my footer. Good. Awesome. And then now we have to make sure we have a header. We don't have a header. So we have the footer. We don't have a header. So the header contains all the information. They say it's the most important. That's this cheat sheet. It's not really. It's the introduction to the page. Kind of like that's what's a web crawler is going to look at that information and it's going to learn everything it needs to know about that page, about what the content of the page is, not about necessarily the author and date and stuff like that, because that's not always the most important information, but it'll know how to index it for when somebody searches for something based on the header information. So I'm going to give myself some space and type in header. Cut this out, paste it right before the section. Awesome. Okay, so this needs to be tabbed over one, and then this header paragraph, this needs to be tabbed over. There we go. So now, what do I have? Header, section, footer. Now I put the header inside the main because that is the way they had it. So I have a header that's inside my main and a footer that's outside my main. Sometimes it'll be different, right? Sometimes you'll have your header before your main. Like, let's say I had an actual like logo for my site and I had the navigation for my site. All of that would be in a separate header outside of main. Okay, so this header is just defining what is inside the main content. Okay, and that actually, interestingly, inside the element you just added, let's add, oh, wait. Number 6. Now our page has semantic elements for the primary content and the creator's credit, but it lacks anything to introduce the website. So this introduces the page, but not the website. Above the element for the primary content that you added in step 2, so just under the body, we're going to make another introductory page. Ooh, I think I went out of order. Ooh, I think it didn't want me to put the header in the H1. I'm so confused. Okay. Oh, interesting. Meh. I think us putting a header in there made sense, but they actually meant for us to put a header there. Just after the opening. Add semantic element. Okay. Okay, all we're doing is a block element. Okay, so number 7. Okay, so they don't want us to have header here. That's fine. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. Whatever. Okay, but I'm on number 6. I'm not going to mark you off if you had it. It just means that you were following along, so good job. All right, so in header, I am now going to number 7. I'm going to add some text that will serve as the role of our site's logo. We don't have it yet, right? And we don't have an element specifically for logo. So we're going to add a block element that is meaningless and fill it with this text, the history of design, which will be the name of our site as a whole. Oh, so we're making a whole website now. Now we know. It's about time. Okay, so meaningless is a div. Okay, and they just want us to put the history of design right in there. So I'm going to copy this over, paste it in there. Okay, here's something they didn't do. This was covering HTML. Okay, div and span meaningless elements and images in HTML. Okay, one thing in challenges. Okay, so one thing that we did, and that we haven't talked about yet is IDs and classes. And I think that was part of our homework. Just saying, like, if this was my work and I was doing this, I would make sure that in this div right here, that I provided it with an ID to declare, like, okay, so since I don't have a semantic element for a logo, I will put an ID equals logo. Okay. And then I know, like, oh, okay, that's going to be, or a class, right? Maybe class would be better. Class. Okay. Why would I change my mind? Why would I be like, oh, maybe ID, maybe class? Because an ID can only be used one time on a page. Okay. Whereas class can be used multiple times. What if I want to put my logo in my header? I want to put my logo in my footer. I want to have it multiple places. Well, I would tell myself that by having it as a class rather than an ID. So if this were my work, I would put class equals logo, just to kind of rather than me thinking that this is the right way to code, because it's really not. You don't just put text inside a div. That's a big fat no. Okay, but this is one way of doing it. And then what I can put here is a comment to myself, and I say this is a placeholder for the logo. Okay, so by calling it class logo, I'm kind of already telling myself this is a placeholder for the logo. But we're going to use this comment. I'm going to get rid of this because technically they didn't have us do this. Josiah Spence did not have us do that. All right, let's see if I did it right. Let's see. Download. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I just said number 7. Okay, and I added a comment because that is a best practice. Okay. This is a placeholder for the logo, saying what this div is. Okay. Let's add some visual interest to the site by adding an image, but first we need to place. Okay, so this is great. So we can place it directly in our root, but keeping images with all the pages could lead to poor organization down the road. Instead, directly inside your root directory, we're going to create a new directory named images. Woo! All right, so watch this, y'all. Now, I am working in here, Practice-Challenge-2. With this highlighted, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it images. What did I not do? I didn't put any spaces, and I didn't capitalize, right? No spaces, no capitalization, images. Now it says download this image file. Okay, download it. How am I going to get it in there? Easy. Rock roll. Okay, so save that. And then, let me show you. So from here, oops, Finder. Okay, so this guy, okay, I'm going to keep it on my other, but here's where it is. What I'm going to do is upload that. Okay, so I'll do it this way. So with images highlighted, I'm going to right click and I'm going to upload. Okay. Then it's going to give me my file explorer system. I got to go find my thing. And here it is, rock roll. Okay. And I'm going to open it. Okay, so now I have uploaded an image file and it's in the folder images. Okay, I still have index, but they're at the same level. I can tell by the indentation. And then now back to your index.html. Okay, directly below the H1 and above the paragraph. Okay, directly below the H1 and above the paragraph, right here, line 21. I should probably get rid of the header because they don't want, they didn't ask us. Oh, guys, okay. I'm getting rid of it. Okay, so right here, I'm going to add the HTML to include the image on your page. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to use a figure yet. I don't think. I'm really a fan of using the figure and big caption, but it does not tell us that we need to use the semantic to give credits to the image or anything like that. So we're just going to do it like this. So instead, we're going to say, we're going to start with image, img, and you notice that there's like different image. So I'm going to press image tab, and it automatically says, okay, what's the source and what's the alt? My source, okay, is the path, the file path. If for some reason you do not want to type out images / what you can do is you could actually right click on this and copy the path, and then you can paste the path. Ah, it's too long. Don't do that. Just kidding. Don't do that. If you needed that in a different, there's copying a path can be very helpful in certain instances, not this one apparently. Okay, so I'm not at my root anymore. I'm at an images folder. So I have to say images, and look, it actually tells you, it's like, oh, you want images, the folder? Yes, I do. And then I press tab, and it has the only image there, rock roll. Boom, boom, boom. Wonderful. Now in my alt, I'm going to name it rock and roll poster. Paste it in there. Why do we use alt text? It's an attribute for users who can't see the image, right? If you can't see the image, what's going to happen is the screen reader is going to say image, rock and roll poster, you know, so it'll tell the person viewing or using, is the right word, our website, what that image is of. And I would probably say, like, I would probably get more specific. Or if you want to get more specific, I mean, you want to have like really nice alt descriptive text where you're actually wanting to give that person that can't see a really good idea of what this is, you would describe everything about that. It would be more than just, rock and roll poster. You know, you would say, talk about colors. You would talk about how it's 2 vinyl records, and one has a distorted image of a sax player, and the other has the same image except now it's colorful. And you could describe that image in a way to make it really, to make it meaningful. But this is fine for now. Let's see if this is working. Let me show preview. Yay, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to close this Explorer so we can see it. Boom, boom. Looks great. So what I really want you to notice, like, first of all, the image looks great. It's already created to work well on this page. We didn't have to really do anything. The other thing is all of the semantic elements that I just added, they didn't change the appearance of the page. It's about the structure, and it's about what's happening behind the scenes. You know, it's laying a good foundation in order for people who are using assistive technology, you know, in our quest for search engine optimization, that it is used appropriately, or that it is viewed appropriately. So Good job, us. All right, so now the most important thing about all of this, we're done. We want to make sure that when we come back to our GitHub, that this shows up, right? And then if I open up my GitHub repository, I have my brand new folder, I have everything updated. So I need to go to, now you see there's a notification, there's 5, right? So it says, hey, look at all these changes you made. And I need to say, added new practice. And when I add new practice, I commit. And would I like to stage all my changes? Yes. Always. Yes. Change them. Okay. And then I see that there's changes. I sync the changes. This action will pull and push commits to and from the origin. Yes. Okay. Don't show again. Okay, so I had to stop the video and deal with an error and merge my branches. If you come up with any errors during this process, please contact me or look up the specific error. Just search for it and you will get the help you need, okay? Often we will have to run commands using our terminal to make sure that, like, okay, so this guy right here is the terminal, and we may have to run commands here. And using the command line is something that you will have to do as a web developer. Somebody who's editing web pages, and not so much. So I don't want to get into it with you right now. If it comes up, I can help you with it. But for now, just know that it's there. And then, so I had to go in and do this again just to show you what it looks like once it's totally done. I'm going to commit. And all it says for me here now, because I had said always do this and, made it so it doesn't keep asking me, I sync the changes, make sure everything is good. Now I can go ahead and I can go back to, let's see. I can stop the Codespace. Okay. And then I can go back to my GitHub. And I can go to my repository. And I see, yes, I have everything. I have an index with the images, and I have my index that has all the code that I just did. So very cool, good to go. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Please reach out if you need more assistance on this.